Yeshakayach to Rabbi Deitch, Rabbi Fischer-Pevsner, Rabbi Blooming for the Varma Verter, for the Divri Bracha. My Rabbi Sai, friends of Oholei Torah, friends of the Michelashvili family, friends of Rabbi Yossi Michelashvili. I asked Yossi, tell me one of your guests that you want to speak, and that's the last speech for tonight. And then we have the highlight, the unveiling of the plaque. So Rabbi Yossi chose Rabbi Ephraim Mintz. Rabbi Yossi is a Taimich, a Miyakir of Torah, and a Taimich of Torah. And he supports, amongst many things, many Ben Torah Eichit. And amongst the many Meises Torah that he supports is the Meisid that's mission statement is based on the Rebbe's surprise for Rengen of Tu B'Shvat, Tezbo Shvat, Tavshel Amud Aleph, to be Meifetz Torah in the ganze Welt. So he chose Rabbi Ephraim Mintz from JLI. Bashkach Prat is Oholei Torah has a very strong connection to Rabbi Ephraim Mintz as well, as he's a member of Arvat HaChinuch. We'll ask Rabbi Ephraim Mintz to be the closing keynote speech for tonight, and then please stick around for the highlights.
Thank you, Rabbi Lustig. B'shem all the many Yedidim, admirers, Maritzim of Yedideinu Hadagol Rabbi Yossi, just to say a few words. Rabbi Yossi and all those assembled, Zeh HaYoim Osa Hashem, and I think all of us truly feel that together with you and your mishpacha, Nogila v'nismecha boy, we all truly rejoice. I think it's a simcha not only for those assembled here, but for our entire community, and for really kol adas achsidim around the world, because we know that Oholei Torah is not just a moisid limited to our kehillah, but truly mimena yoytze oira v'toira and warmth and chassidus, literally l'chol ha'olam kulei. So Rabbi Yossi, I wanted to share, I remember hearing years ago that during one of the very difficult times in Russia, it was a terrible gzeira against the chinuch. It was a gzeira that was affecting not only the Jewish community, the yeshivas and the moisdes, but all religions were challenged by that the Russian government came out with a gzeira that prohibited the education in accordance with the various religions, lahavdol. And there was an asifa, a meeting among all the G'dolei Yisrael. We know that Rebbe Rashab was very involved, and the G'dolei Yisrael from all kreisen came together. There was a gzeira ayuma, and they decided that the only way they could challenge this gzeira is by sending a delegation to the Minister of Education to explain that by us, chinuch is not just something limited to the few years when a boy is in school, but Torah is heim chayenu v'oirech yameinu. It's something that's with us every moment of our lives. And they decided, all the Rabbanim and Rosh Yeshiva decided that they were going to take a piece of our davening. They chose the tefillah of Avas Olam Ahavtanu, or Ava Rabbah, the way the world says, and they decided to translate this tefillah in a very rich, nice Russian, and they were looking for a yid in the Kehillah that speaks Russian perfectly, and he was going to go to read this tefillah to the Russian Minister of Education to explain that Avas Olam Ahavtanu, the rich, the same Lebenibina Lahavin Lahaske Lishma Lishma Luma Lilame Lishma Velasquez Lakayim. It's part of the DNA of a Yid. You can't separate us, a Yid, from Torah. And so they sent out, they commissioned the best translator, and the Rabbanim and Rosh Yeshivas were all commented. They tweaked it, Zed B'Koi, V'Zed B'Koi, and they found the best, most articulate, presentable speaker who has a good Russian to read it. And finally, after many days of meeting and discussing it, the Shliach Tzibur, who was meant to read it to the Russian Minister of Education, came before all the Rabbanim and Rosh Yeshivas, and he read Ahavas Olam Ahavtanu in Russian, and they all wished him well as he went off on his shlichus. As he was walking out, one of the Rabbanim stood up and said, Rabbi Sai, I'd like to say something. He said, Rabbi Sai, if we would say in our davening every day, if our davening would be so beautiful, weil King Zeir nicht gewählt. There would never be a Zeir in the first place. The reason why I say this is we all know that today the ganze Welt, Yakiru v'yedu, the ganze Welt knows that in Lubavitch, every young Lubavitcher has a way to speak to inspire, to impact the world around them. The world is envious of your average Oholei Torah bacher. There's no one like the pride, the Go'in Yaakov, the warmth, the brand that our Talmidei HaTamimim have. And to take our message, the message of Torah, the message of Chassidus, the Rebbe's words to the world. But Rabbi Yossi, the Kiyad Hashem HaToiva Alav, knows as well as we all do that Mipsorcha Al Tisalam. And if we could invest, Rabbi Isai, the same creativity, the same energy, the same resources that we do to be Mekarev the world in our own Bachrim, well, perhaps the Gzeiras Hayumis in the world wouldn't exist. And this is why Rabbi Yossi b'Chachmasoi b'Tfunasoi, not only here but around the world, as was mentioned earlier, is a Ben Torah or Moiker Torah. That truly he brings this, he was Allah b'Goroloi, to invest in our own Bachrim, as we heard tonight, speaker after speaker. And just to conclude, as we celebrate the Chanukas Habayis of this Beis Medrash, I want to call your attention to another Chanukas Habayis, another historic Chanukas Habayis that took place many years ago in perhaps what was considered the first of its kind in history. The Chanukas Habayis of the famous world-renowned Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin, headed and founded by the great Reb Meir Shapiro. And this was the first time you're talking about, perhaps maybe it wasn't as nice as this, but compared to all the yeshivas that preceded, it was a tremendous l'shemol teferes, a Beis Medrash, a dining hall, a dormitory. The ganze Welt was mesmerized by this new Beis Medrash, new yeshiva. And it was a Chanukas Habayis similar to what we're having here today. And speaker after speaker, there were more speakers than tonight. Rabbonim, Rosh Yeshivas from every background came to celebrate this incredible historic moment of the Chanukas Habayis. We all know Reb Meir Shapiro was at Shorkev Chassid. He was a Chassid at the Shorkev Rebbe. Of course, he was mechabed his Rebbe to speak. But the Shorkev Rebbe said, Reb Meir, I want to speak last. Okay, so speaker after speaker got up, and they marveled, they spoke b'shvachoi of Reb Meir Shapiro. That Ashrecha Reb Meir, what you did, Ashrecha Reb Meir, one after the other. Finally, the last speaker, the Charkiv Rebbe, who is short in stature, comes up, he stands by the podium and he says, Rabbi Isa, and he turns to the large podium, head table, with many Rabbanim Gdolei Yisrael. And he said, you're all envious of Reb Meir Shapiro that he was zoiche to be the one to build this historic yeshiva. He said, Rabbi Isai, I want to tell you, I'm not mekana in my neighbor. I'm not envious of Reb Meir Shapiro. I'll tell you what I am envious of. For some reason, Reb Meir must have done something in his life. He must have done a mitzvah in his life, and in the schus of this mitzvah that he did, he was zoicha to have the schus to build this yeshiva. And that mitzvah I'm envious. The reason why I share the story is we're standing here, of Yedideinu Rabbi Yossi, that all of the Gorolei. But I want to say, I know Yossi's not going to like when I say this, but I feel like the Rebbe quotes the Rashba often, mitzvah lefarsem oisei mitzvah. Rabbi Yossi was zoicha to build, to support, and to fortify Moisdes HaTorah around the world, and now Baruch Hashem in the Rebbe's Daled Amis, this yeshiva. But what's less known is that everything that Rabbi Yossi does is imbued with, is permeated with, his she'ifa atzuma, as I hear from him many times in meetings, in conferences, where he says he has one desire. He has one burning desire to bring nachas ruach to the Rebbe. And his desire to help the Rebbe's kinder, the children of the Rebbe, this is their house. So Rabbi Yossi, I conclude, Ashrecha Rabbi Yossi, that the schus that you have to build this Moise, which Mimeno Yoitze Oira, the warmth, the Lichtigkeit, the Varmkeit that will emanate from these Daled Amas is to your schus and your wife and your family's schus. And as it's brought down, the Medrash, that Badei Ha'aron Lo Yosuru Mimenu, the support of the Aron will never and should never be removed. It's brought down in the first, the Badei Ha'aron are the Toinchei Torah, and Lo Yosuru Mimenu, the schus, the Badei Ha'aron will always remain part of the Aron. All the Torah and Avodah, all the Yiras Shamayim and Midas Toivis, all the Avos Yisrael and Shlichusim that will emanate from these Daled Amas, Lo Yosuru Mimenu, that schus will remain with you and your family, La'ad, L'olmei Elamim, with Gesund and Harchava, I'm sure it's Toivis, Bakron, Mikoil, and to the Anhola, the board, and all the Anhola, I give you a bracha, by a simcha, by a bris, we say, Zeh HaKotten Godel Yiyah. My humble bracha is that Zeh HaGodel Kotten Yiyah. That this big base medrash should be too small because of the incredible shame that, and all of us will gather once again, and may it be the Qadr Mamish when we will be reunited with the Rebbe B'Reishenu, and the Heir of Yameinu Mamish.
Shekayach, Rabbi Mintz, thank you for serving as our Vada Chinuch and for the beautiful, beautiful keynote address. Rabbi Yossi, you'll probably be upset at me, but I have to do this. We're going to talk about you now. We're turning to you. I got to know you more and more. We're neighbors, Baruch Hashem. But I got to know you more and more over the last few months. And I noticed there's a part about you that's Shnayim Sheim Arba. Somebody once told me, there's people who are very giving, and there's people who are sharing. You think it's the same. It's very different. You have some people, they're giving. They give donations, they'll give money, they'll support, but their beautiful mansion, nobody steps foot in their house. Then you have people, they're very sharing. Come, sit on my couch, eat at my table. They're very sharing, they're welcoming, but giving away their money, they don't do. If you know Rabbi Yossi, he has both sides to him. As his neighbor, I can tell you his house is Pashat, and Mrs. Michelashvili, you get the credit. And I've been to the house. People walk through the door. It's like almost doesn't have a code. And there's tens of Bachrim who eat there every single Shabbos. And on Sukkot, we heard the Farbrengens, we heard the Nagunim, because your backyard is the Lincoln place. And you open your house, your dining room table, your kitchen, your couches, everything is open to everybody. Pasha is so sharing. And he has good maskeh there also. And giving. We cannot thank you enough. This is our moment that we want to thank you. I'm going to call you up in a minute. We want to thank you for the tremendous, extraordinary, generous contribution, the support, the friendship, the tmicha that you gave us, and you and your wife and the whole family to make this happen. Yashikayach on behalf of the 2,000 Talmidim of Oholei Torah. And there's another thing that you have double, two sides to you. We just read in the Torah last week, V'lizvulin Amar Smach Zvulun B'tzeisecha V'yisachar B'yalecha. There's the Zvulun who goes out, and there's the Yisachar who stays in. And as we heard tonight, Rabbi Yossi has both parts. He's a Ben Torah and he's a Taimich Torah. Rashi says, L'ficha Chiktim Zvulun Yisachar Shel Tarasai She Yisachar Zayidei Zvulun Yisachar. So the support even come first. And Mandachar Shmei, if you support and you also learn and you teach and you come give a shir here and you learn, and that's just, it's unbelievable. It's Torah Gedula B'Makom Echad. Rabbi Yossi, we'd like to call you up. I'd like to ask Rabbi Blau and Rabbi Yosef Brickman, one of the members of the board of directors, to present a gift to Rabbi Yossi, and we hope you'll grace us with a few words before we unveil the plaque. Rabbi Yosef Brickman, Rabbi Blau. Please present this to Rabbi Yossi. Yossi, come. Uncover it. This is an original letter of the Rebbe that we obtained to give this to Rabbi Yossi. It has the Rebbe's Savi HaKadosh in it, and the Rebbe's signature. And we chose this letter. I'll take a picture first, hold on. We chose this letter over here. The Rebbe gives brachas first of all. The Rebbe says, "Yiratzim Hashem Yisparach Shetish Nasatzlacha Etzlai Hein Begashmius Beruchnius V'Yosef B'Limud HaTorah V'Kiyum Mitzvah Samach V'Charchacha." The Rebbe adds Betach Shemru Shloisha Shiurim Hashem L'chol Nefesh V'Kodesh Tov V'Tanya Hayuduim. And then the Rebbe adds, and this is what the Rebbe put in Tzav Yad. Bevadai Mishtadal V'Oisik B'Afotzes V'Yanis Divril L'Kim Chayim. It said Kiddush. And the Rebbe made a strong relation. The Rebbe turned the word Kedarush in Kiddubai. Very interestingly how the Rebbe did that. You can't even see the word Kedarush anymore. And the Rebbe made the Reish and the Beis and the Shin and the Ayin, you can see here. And the Rebbe said that you should do it Kiddubai L'Meba. But the Rebbe doesn't ask you or tell you to do it. The Rebbe says, better you do it, and we know that you do. So we found that this is a beautiful letter, and it has a plaque over here that says, B'Yikono, B'Haracha, B'Choy, B'Yosef, B'Yosef, V'Zugasai, Baras Ya'el, Sheyuchi, Michelashvili, Al Nivas, Nipo, Ma'atoshos, Beis HaMedrash, Michelashvili, B'Roiv Pa'er V'Hadar, Zeh, Keli V'Anveyu, Yiratzoin, Sheschus, HaTorah, V'Chesed, Tamid Lahem, U'Levnei Veisam, L'Bracha, V'Atzlacha, B'Shem HaHalos, U'Moised Oholei Torah.
Baruch Hashem, als in der Babich, wir machen nicht keine Spegen. Weil Baruch Hashem hat mir schon Achtet gewinnt. Okay, Lemaise, English, lustig. English, Yiddish? Yiddish. Okay. Leute, als Dorim und Eichi, ich habe nicht stehen und sagen, im nächsten. Baruch Hashem noch genug was zu tun im Leben. Nur was, da wissen wir gesagt, als der Tommy hat der Achai nicht nur für sich, hat der Achai ist der ganze Babich. Als Menschen wissen, dass der Tommy ein Talmud vom Leben und darf. Muss sein, ein Talmud trocken. Es ist bewusst, dass das Wort vom Leben, dass der Rebbe gewollt, als Bochum soll wissen, Kzeis und Nesilis, Panter. Und wie hat der Fächen jetzt zu sagen, aber Lemaise, ich misspall gewinnt, als das der einzige Lubavitcher Moise, was hat Oizar Chochma. Moise not, since when? In my time, it's nicht gehabt. Aber Lemaise ist, aber ich misspall von dir. Als der Bochum kann reingehen, into a Suge, und learn systematically, wie mir sagt, hoe wird der gewollt. Noch eine Sache, aber ich habe der Wort von Rebbe Milewowski dort eingesucht, als ein Tate der Partisan hat einmal gesagt, als der ganze Terror-Mitzvah ist ein Moschel und der Nimmschuld ist Geld. Es ist nicht ein Gelächter, es ist ein Ämterkäse. Und in der Sache, in Englisch,